Welcome to Dub Nation, the official show of the Utah Warriors of Major League Rugby. I am Jarom Jordan. He is Banksy. We got a lot going on the show today. We say goodbye to one of the greats in Utah Warriors history, perhaps the greatest player in Utah Warriors history, Lance Williams. 5 players have re-signed. We'll tell you who. 2 new signings, including our guest today, Michael Manson. The Warriors trade for Spencer Jones. We'll tell you about him. The World Cup final was played. Banksy is still not over it as South Africa wins it all. The Pacific Nations Cup, a new thing for the United States, is exciting. And hey, 3 Warriors in camp with USA Rugby going to Spain next week to compete in a little 4-team tournament. And we begin with Lance Williams. Banksy, perhaps the greatest Warrior. I think he is. 2-time All-MLR first-teamer, USA Sevens capped player. That's probably his pursuit at this point as he tries to make the Olympics in 24 in Paris. Second most capped player in MLR history. 18 tries. He's up in the top 5 there. Lance Williams was a heck of a player. Perhaps we'll see him in the future again with the Warriors or MLR, but for now, we wish him the best of luck, and he was a hell of a player, man.
I mean, if you've got a chance to go represent your country at the Olympics, when he committed to the USA, that was always part of his goal, but whether it was internationally at the 15s level or with the Olympics, he's down with the 7 squad now. I see him on Instagram with all his training videos, working his guts out to try and represent the red, white, and blue, and an incredible man first. I mean, I can't say enough about him as a person, but as a player, just immense on the field. Thankfully, he was a big part of training a new crop of guys that will be able to step in and take his place with the likes of the emergence of Tommy Tuivasa. So will he be missed? Yes, but next man up, Dub Nation, and we'll fill that spot pretty quick.
He wasn't just good on the field, as you mentioned. He was a special needs preschool teacher locally. He's got the amazing hair, like always a fun guy to talk to. And so we're looking forward to what Lance is doing next, and we'll be rooting for him to hopefully represent the red, white, and blue in sevens in Paris. That'd be awesome. Okay, 5 players have re-signed, and all 5 are important to the future of the Utah Warriors. Angus McClellan is back, 31 years old, tight head prop. Has the most appearances in Major League Rugby history with 78, the first to 50 USA Eagle a couple times over in different tours. 7th season for him in MLR. This was an important one because he has been one of the best tight head props in the league.
An absolute anchor on that tight head side of the scrum. You know, for the uninitiated that may be watching this, having a good tight head is like having a good left tackle on your offensive line. Like, you build everything from that piece and move forward. So having Gus back on form and salty as he ever was, personality-wise, is a good thing for the Utah Warriors.
Hey, I love a good piece of salt, on some meat, and Angus provides that in a shed, Okay, Saya Uhila is number 2, 36 years old, still going. They call him Chief, 6'4", 255, a lock. He's been with the Warriors the whole time. 12th player with 50 MLR appearances, and he played in 14 games last year. Here's a guy who provides at least experience, but he has started a bunch recently too.
He's great injury cover when you need him with his experience, but more importantly, he is a weapon. When you've had to tackle the likes of so many of our great, bigger physical players that typically start our matches, you've gone 60 minutes, right, having to tackle so many of these guys. And then Saya Uhila comes on and runs downhill at you. You know, that's a daunting prospect for any team to face. And then just the quality, the accountability, the respect that he has in the locker room, seeing Chief back is a big win for Dub Nation.
Third re-signing, Jeremiah Noesi, a guy who played in 9 games last year, 21 years old, a back rower from Tacoma. Found him in the Crossroads Cup, and he is a big piece of a young Utah Warriors squad that has some real experience with those guys we just talked about. But Noesi has come on, and he'll factor in more in 24.
And big shoes to fill in the lettuce department as well, with Lance Williams obviously departing. Jeremiah's got a great head of hair and a really high ceiling for what he can do on the rugby pitch. So excited to see him continue to develop as he gets healthy again leading into MLR 2024.
John Dupree was the rookie that played the most, last season. He is back, the Central Washington grad, 3 appearances last year, and he put in some good work, and he's going to be a bigger piece next year too.
He could be great. And when I don't say that lightly when I use that term, his work rate right now is unbelievable. And when you start to build up his rugby IQ and that physical stature, a little undersized as a back rower at just 5'11", but he can get around the pitch and he is fearless. So excited to see what John Dupree can produce this year.
Fifth and final guy to mention right now for a re-signing is Sione Mahe, who at 6'1", 185 is a local kid from Harriman, played in the Collegiate Rugby Shield, played in the Crossroads Cup. He's a guy who trained with and played with the selects. We didn't see him in MLR quite yet, but I reckon we're going to see him perhaps on the wing this next year at some point.
Sione arguably could have been the MVP of the entire Crossroads Cup. Just an incredible breakout year for him and a very exciting player to watch. When you talk about weapons around the pitch, when you look at the likes of someone like Joe Mano, Sione Mahe is another one of those. At 6 foot and 185 pounds, he has the speed, but he also has the physicality to be able to take over rugby games.
Okay, that wraps up the 5 re-signings. Still roster shaping up stuff with signings and re-signings and trades and whatnot, much of which we'll get to as we continue the program. But first, you got to make sure you're in the stands for next season. See these guys.
Get your season tickets now, Dub Nation. The best home field in all of Major League Rugby, and it's not a reputation we take lightly. Call 801-477-7652. That's 801-477-7652. Book your seats now in the red and black. Rock the 4 stripes. Season tickets are available for Major League Rugby 2024.
5 re-signings, 2 signings to talk about. The first of which is Phil Bradford, a 26-year-old hooker from Newcastle, Australia. Played with U18s in Australia. This is a guy who's scored 17 tries in 17 games in the Shoot Shield in 2022. This is a big-time addition.
Shoot Shield is the top club level competition in Australia. It's incredibly competitive. Most of those players go on to play in Super Rugby if they're worth their salt. So I believe this is a steal for the Utah Warriors, getting the quality of Phil Bradford into this team. You're talking about a dynamic, top-tier, international level hooker who can not only perform the basics at the scrum and in the line out, but can do the dynamic things off the back of the maul and with the ball in his hand that you require from a modern hooker.
Okay, and the second signing is a winger, 22-year-old named Michael Manson from Invercargill, New Zealand. Otago Boys High School. Big-time sprinter, 10.8, 100, U20s with the Highlanders. And we're really excited to have Michael on the team as well, as he now joins us on Dub Nation all the way from New Zealand, as we welcome Michael Manson to the program. Michael, how you doing, man? Congrats on signing with the Warriors.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Just getting stuck in.
Okay, how did this come about? And, what do you know about the Warriors, and why was this the right opportunity for you to join Major League Rugby?
Greg Cooper flicked me a message and said, what's my sort of plans rugby post NPC? And I didn't really have anything planned. And I always thought like getting over to the MLR would be a pretty cool opportunity to kind of develop the game and have a bit of fun and see the world. So when I got that opportunity, I just jumped on it and I thought, let's see what it gives me and have some fun with it. But I heard that the Utah Warriors are a pretty fun team to be a part of, like a pretty unbelievable on attack, and like you mentioned just before, the crowd and atmosphere is next level. So yeah, it seems pretty awesome.
So Major League Rugby is on the map then, would you say, at least around the NPC circles for a lot of guys?
Oh, everyone wants to get over there. Like it's if you miss out on Super, Major League is the next best thing to get the foot in.
Hey, we'll take that. We get it. We bend the knee to Super Rugby for sure. But it's been fun to see this influx of talent from all over the world come in, including yourself. Tell us about kind of your upbringing in rugby and track, and kind of how that speed has played its way into being a winger.
Well, I guess I was born down here in Invercargill, and then we moved up to Cromwell, which is in Central Otago, when I was 2. And then I guess sport wasn't really a big thing there, so I went to Otago Boys to develop kind of that sporting side. I had a big focus on athletics and rugby because I was pretty lucky with my genetics. Mum and dad were both very quick growing up. They were both sprinters, so I got some good genetics with that. And the athletics coaches at Otago Boys were pretty keen to kind of push me and see what I could do. So they gave me a lot of tools and training to develop it all. And I guess I had really started to take it seriously when I went down there. And then I guess I found the love of rugby when I was down there, playing with all my mates. And it was unbelievably fun. We had a stat team, like we were putting 100 points on big schools, and just it was so much fun. Like we were unbeaten, and we were unlucky not to go to top 4, and which is the New Zealand schools competition. So I really found the love for rugby, and I decided to give athletics a break and just focus on footy, and it translated over. And it's really helped me develop as a winger, having speed. So
is that one of those where you're out just throwing the ball around with the boys at lunchtime, and the head coach sees you just, sprinting down the wing and goes, "You're coming to play with me"?
It was a wee bit like that. They grabbed me pretty quickly. So it was very similar to that.
The key to super athleticism is the mom, I've found. Because there are a lot of dads that hey, my dad played or whatever. When the mom is athletic, that's awesome. So your mom was a sprinter and your dad. This is a thing. Like sprinting's a thing in the family.
Yeah, but they also done, like, mum was a hockey player as well, and dad was a rugby player. So
she's got some toughness too. That's awesome. All moms are tough, but like if you're a hockey mom, that's another level, man. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We're talking to Michael Manson on Dub Nation. What are you most excited about with not only joining the Warriors, but kind of living in the United States and experiencing what America has to offer?
Yeah, I don't really know what to expect. That's coming from such a small little place down the bottom of the South Island. Like, it's going to be a huge shock to the system, moving to a massive city. And I guess I just really want to carry on playing good footy. And the Utah Warriors, they've got a back line and they've got a good forward pack. So it's just going to be so much fun being on the end of all of those great players.
Well, the good news is you've got mountains there, and you've got mountains here that you're coming to, and you're giving up winter for spring in New Zealand right now, but you'll be coming straight back into that Utah winter for spring by the time you get here. Who else have you connected with on the team as you've kind of, now that the signing is public and you've looked forward to making plans? Have you been able to talk with anybody else? As there's, obviously quite a few Kiwis on the squad as well.
Yeah, mainly just the Kiwis. Nick Souchon's actually a good mate of mine, and he's coming over as well. So, we're talking most days about it, and we're sorting out things we want to do. So, should be a bit of fun with him.
And Banksy lived in New Zealand as a kid, so he can give you here's what he could translate, what restaurants you need to hit or where you need to go. So he's
got the spot when you're craving a meat pie, when you get a bit homesick, bud. I got fresh bread and a Milo in the pantry right now when you need it. All right.
Perfect.
Awesome. What else do you like to do off the pitch? Like, what are some of your hobbies? What do you enjoy doing?
I love hunting. Love hunting and fishing.
You're gonna love Utah, bro.
Yeah, I heard it's a good place for that sort of stuff, but just have to hopefully go along with someone and get into it.
Easy peasy. So, like most of the nation, I'm sure you watched the Rugby World Cup final. What was your take on how everything went and kind of Fozzie's last stand?
Another card has been handed out suddenly.
Oh, we got a message from the TMO. I'm in the bin for 10 on that.
I'm still spewing about it. The whole country is, spewing. We got robbed. I think it's those
Wayne Barnes does it again to the All Blacks. In my best DJ Khaled voice, another one.
Yeah. Would have been a different story if that TMO kept out of most of that stuff. So can't do anything about it now, though.
Yeah, it got card heavy for sure. Well, Michael, we're excited to have you, man. Best of luck in kind of your training in the next couple of months before we see you perhaps in early January in preseason camp. And again, Banksy's got you. He knows all the spots, having lived in New Zealand. He's got you. Thanks for joining Dub Nation, man.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Michael Manson, all the way from New Zealand. You gotta love the fact that we could just anyone over. We've talked to people from all over the world on this show, and super excited to have Michael Manson, who's a young guy, who's fast, who can get some experience in MLR and contribute to the Warriors next year.
A dynamic player for sure, and can't wait to see him in the red and black. If you're ready to rock the stripes as well, are you excited? Get your Warriors gear now. Shop.warriorsrugby.com. Everything you need Utah Warriors is available for you now. And a little birdie told me there's some pretty incredible deals going on as well. So get your kit. Be ready for MLR 2024. Shop.warriorsrugby.com now.
Okay, we've got a trade to mention. The Utah Warriors have traded for Spencer Jones from the New England Free Jacks. Always good to try and trade, with the champs there. 6'1", 215 center and fly half. Traded for a first-round pick in next year's draft and salary cap considerations. Canadian international. Played in 2 games last summer. But during the season, 13 games played and scored a try for the Free Jacks. He played for the Arrows before that. 33 games over 4 different seasons. This is a guy who's been in the league and provides some cover at center that perhaps could be, we'll see. Paul Lasike is going to come back from injury, but Calvin Whiting retires. So maybe Spencer Jones gets some of those minutes.
I think he's a great addition to that center core, with guys like Mika Cruze playing time at center, obviously with Paulie Lasike getting back and getting healthy again, and then guys who are already in the pipeline to fill in there. This is a seasoned and weathered center who can play that big physical MLR game, but also has great attacking sensibilities. That center combo was focused so much on defense and stopping the opposition's attack in the past years that it'll be nice to see somebody who's used to playing with the ball in hand going forward to be able to kind of turn another pivot position in that back line at that 12-13.
So a trade in the offseason as the Warriors continue to try and cobble together the roster. That's all the roster news we've got for you today, but stay with us the next couple of weeks as the Warriors kind of tighten the screws on that, and then we're going to get the schedule, and we're going to get the kits and all that, and we are one step closer.
I mean, you say kit if you're ready to get some kit, and to be fair, we have the best looking kit in all of Major League Rugby. Rock the red and black and the 4 stripes. There is a huge team store sale going on right now. You can get jerseys, balls, hoodies, the retro kit, all of the things that you absolutely love about representing Utah Warriors rugby, available at a discount now. All right. We want to clear the shelves and get ready for 2024. So get yours at some of the best deals you've ever seen. Go to shop.warriorsrugby.com now.
Okay. We mentioned it with Michael, but the World Cup final is in the books. South Africa wins in a kind of weird game, a messy game with a lot of cards, 12-11 over New Zealand. What do you make of the final? How you feeling a couple days later as a part Kiwi guy here?
Obviously, I was rooting for New Zealand. If anybody was going to take it to New Zealand in the final, it was going to be South Africa. They're the only team, with the exception of maybe Ireland, that has the physicality to be able to match up, but the athleticism to be able to run sideline to sideline with New Zealand. So I always felt like this was going to be a low-scoring game. Full credit to South Africa, the first team to win 4 World Cups, whistle to whistle. They deserve all the credit in the world. The thing that still upsets me is it's gotten to the point now where it's really interference by the referees and officiating crews now. And they are, in their defense, playing within the rules. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing as far as the TMO and what's going on. It needs to change. I think there's a clear and glaring, obvious need for the TMO's involvement and how they interact with the game to change. We saw it with tries against Samoa. We saw it with Fiji. And then we saw it in the worst way in this Rugby World Cup final. On the biggest stage, this game was bogged and mired down by the officiating process. We can't play the game in constant review in the rear view mirror. And that's what the TMO is doing. I think the position of the TMO, and we saw it last year, and I was very critical of it in MLR as well, the interference of the TMO and almost the oversight of the center referee. We need to put the game back in the hands of the center referee, let them officiate the game at an elite and high level, and then in the crucial moments, go to the TMO only when called on to be able to clear up those situations. The TMO has far too much power and influence, and that needs to be reviewed and changed. And I think we saw that throughout the World Cup, but especially in the final.
If it makes you feel any better, one of my buddies last night, was in a ref costume, and I just, without him even seeing who it was, I just said, "Ref, you suck!" And then I said, "Hey, what's up, Tommy?" So
This
yeah,
is why we're friends, Jarom.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is I get it. I get it. Yeah, maybe a little too much Big Brother, a little too much perfection. We're not using robots in baseball quite yet to call balls and strikes. Like, there is some human element to this, but yeah, if something's egregious, certainly it makes sense for the TMO to step in. But yeah, it just is choppy and crazy and cut the flow and cards and red and multiple yellows and who's in, who's out and penalty goals. There wasn't like, I don't know. I think the style we all kind of prefer is some flow. Sometimes the game does not merit that. It's too physical, and perhaps that's what it was in the final. But overall, I did want to ask you how you felt about the entire tournament, the entire competition in France, how it kind of shook out. Because it ended up being, we saw some of the matchups we wanted in the semifinals and finals were in the quarters.
We saw some of the best rugby that I think has ever been played. The Ireland-New Zealand game, fantastic. The opening match versus France and New Zealand, I think, to France's credit, they pulled off a spectacular tournament. From all the host venues, from everything I heard from friends who were there, the entire experience was spectacular. Are there things that we could nitpick and be negative about? Absolutely. But I think on the whole, the spectacle that was the World Cup was a success, and we should all hold our heads high to have been a part of it, even just as fans, as the USA didn't qualify. But now look forward to, hey, guess what? There's a World Cup coming to the United States, and we need to be ready for that. And we need to both support our local club rugby, our major league rugby clubs, as well as the international side, whenever and wherever they go, to really rally the rugby community behind what exists so that we can help grow it to the next level.
We now look forward to the 2027 World Cup in Australia starting October 1st. So the countdown is on. All right, a new competition that is happening, just recently announced, is the Pacific Nations Cup. Annual competition among 6 nations, USA among them. Here's how it goes. 2 pools of 3 teams, USA, Canada, and Japan in a pool. And then you have Samoa, Tonga, and Fiji in the other. August and September each year, starting in 2024. Japan will host the final next year. The United States will host in 25. I like this. Another competition. It's in the fall. It's going to be something that we could see USA Rugby compete in and gain some confidence and grow. And I like it. I think it's good. We haven't had this yet. Let's compete for the Pacific Nations Cup. You win the entire Pacific Ocean if you win this.
And I think it's fantastic as well because you get to play nations that play that top tier level of rugby. We've seen Japan compete and win games in World Cups. Tonga, obviously, with a big physical game. Samoa, incredible with the history and some of the players that have gone on there. Fiji, as they continue to develop, and what a run they had on the rise. With Canada and the USA really being kind of the guys playing catch up. I think as this competition allows the development of programs starting at the national level and working its way down to the players, we're going to see everybody's level rise. And I think this competition is perfect to get players in that player pool more minutes and play in that style that head coach Scott Lawrence wants to play.
The next competition right in front of us is a tournament in Spain. It's 4 teams, and the United States is there. Bailey Wilson, Joe Mano, Thomas Tuivasa were 3 of the Utah Warriors, or the Utah Warriors, in camp. Next week on the 11th, they're going to play a match against Brazil, and then the winner-loser will play in the championship or third-place game after that. So more competition and perhaps Bailey Wilson's first cap starting maybe next week. So good luck to those guys. And again, another opportunity for them to increase their skills ahead of the MLR season.
You got to be excited about more international rugby, especially for these USA players. When we talk about guys now that are in that age bracket where they're 23, 24, 25, 26, those are the guys that are going to be playing through the next World Cup cycle. And hopefully when we host it here, they will be that veteran group of players that will lead this team out onto the pitch on USA soil for the first time in a Rugby World Cup.
Canada in that as well with Spain, of course. So we'll see if USA and Canada get a tee off or not. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So again, we tell you in the offseason, there's stuff going down. The schedule feels like it's just around the corner. And there are rumors of, nuances within the league and playoffs and division and whatnot. That's all going to shake out. We're going to have rosters. We're going to have official kits. We're 2 months away from like camp starting. So there's going to be stuff going on. Make sure you stay with us because that'll do it for us. Follow and like and share this episode of Dub Nation. Follow the Utah Warriors on social media. Our thanks to Michael Manson, new signee from New Zealand, for joining us on the program. For Mason Benson and Banksy, I am Jarom Jordan. Go Warriors.